Episode 126?
I know, right?
Getting old.
What are we going to do about this?
This is insane.
What are we going to talk about?
We have talked into microphones 126 times.
In fact, probably more because we have...
You lost some files.
And the worst part is...
I'm sorry.
It's true. It's so true.
so true.
It's true.
Yes.
To be honest, I'll bet we're somewhere around 140 episodes.
Wow.
If there weren't those missing files.
Oh, that's kind of scary. That is really scary. And to think that 126 times people have listened to us yammer about whatever.
At least one person. Usually it's just my dad, but at least one person has listened to us.
Sometimes there's a second or third, okay? Sometimes.
You know, within the first week of release, each one of these episodes averages 1,000 downloads.
Right.
So
Yeah.
generally within the first 4 or 5 days, every episode at release will get 1,000. So we're actually,
What's wrong with y'all?
You know, the
I
other
like
thing is,
them.
can't you, and correct me if I'm wrong, Clint, but when we post it like on the website or it's on YouTube, they can listen to it there, but we can't see it. So we don't know how many people have listened at that point. That doesn't post.
Right. So the numbers of downloads and listens and all that, it's actually it's not an exact science in the podcast world. Whereas in the video world,
You can track
are
it.
really granular and on it. But in the podcast world, it's the Wild West, and you don't really know actual downloads and actual listens. It's just not a thing.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Right.
I'm going to go with 1 million.
Let's go with 1 million. It's almost terrifying to think about it. So I guess the question that comes to my head is, how do you guys feel about all these people listening to us talk about all of this? We started like over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
How does it feel now?
I think the same as it felt in the beginning.
Which is?
I mean, to be honest, I don't know. Like, we don't. Is that you?
Yeah, it's my headphone
It's
cable.
real making me crazy.
I'll fix it.
Like, we don't know what we're doing, and we just kind of like sit at a table and talk. And
Isn't that the what makes us special? We still don't know what we're doing.
yeah, I don't mind that we don't know
honest.
what we're doing. In fact, if you go to Apple Podcasts and read our reviews, which if you haven't yet, you should totally review us.
They all say we don't know what we're doing.
By the way,
They
yeah.
all say like, oh, I love how it just kind of feels like there's just sitting around a campfire and talking. And it's like, yeah, we don't know how to not do that.
Right.
Like, I just don't think we can be professional enough to
That's the
get out
genesis
of
of
that.
this, right? The genesis of this was we had fun conversations, and then it naturally came to we kind of have the ability to. Why don't we record these?
Hey, we're hilarious and we have microphones.
So,
and
hence a podcast.
so my feeling is there are times when it's like, we just got to get something out, and it doesn't feel quite as fun on those things. Or sometimes it's just the topic is, this really needs to be talked about, but uncomfortably.
Yeah, we're going to have one of those conversations today. I
However,
Are there those times I fall asleep?
However, there
then
are
there's
some.
those.
I look forward to this podcast continuing because we still have some crack me up moments, and when I get to edit those episodes, where I'm falling apart and crying in the corner over there,
right.
with tears streaming down my face because of something Lindsay did. It's,
yes.
It's one of those things I still look forward because I don't know what we're going to get on the
Never know
microphones.
what you're gonna
That's
get.
right. Yes, life is like a box of chocolates.
Yeah. So how about
Good one, Mom.
No, it's terrible impression.
It's pretty bad.
Terrible.
Tom, is that you?
In fact, I
Mr.
almost
Hanks?
didn't try.
Right
because
here in
it's
the
so
studio,
bad.
Tom Hanks.
I thought it was Forrest Gump. I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I can tell you that.
Okay. All right. We're not like.
so smooth.
All right.
Yeah, is anyone still listening?
Okay.
Knock, knock.
I want to know how many times we've said, is anybody still listening on this podcast? I bet it's been a lot.
Why don't you listen to 126 of them and let me know?
I'm not
You can
going to
count.
do that. But once I realized I saw that 126 and it kind of freaked me out. My first thought was, I want to go back to like, not the first one, but like the 5th or 6th one and listen to it and just like listen to like what
If
it was
it's not,
like.
do you think it will be different?
Not much.
Not much.
Nope.
We have grown not at all.
Nope.
0.
There's been no self-improvement.
No learning curve. None of that. That's all right. You know what?
That's a lie. I have learned to set my drink down a lot quieter.
Okay, that's
This is what
good.
it used to sound like.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad we've learned a few things. And, sometimes we do talk about things that are interesting or important or educational. Very occasionally that comes out and I get to be the straight man and I get to say something useful.
I have set you up for Straight Man City today.
Well, I'm not funny.
Man.
I am not the funny guy.
That's
You're
it's
totally
good.
funny.
That's
No, I am not.
literally what makes it
I am
work.
fun to laugh at sometimes, but
hear
I am
your-
not funny.
Forrest Gump impression?
Yes, that is not funny. That is unfortunate.
Would you do it again, though?
No, not without several beers.
Okay.
What are we going to talk about today?
Well,
What are we going to do? We haven't even said what we're going to talk about today.
yeah, we've been.
Okay, so here's my pitch because neither of you really helped me on this because we ran out of time. Here's the pitch: we admit to those my bad moments that we still run across in our camping setups and outings and whatnot. Welcome to the RV Small Talk podcast, where we talk about lightweight trailers, truck campers, and the people, places, and adventures that go right along with them. We are your hosts from Princess Craft RV. I'm Clint.
I'm Lindsay.
And I'm PJ. Thank you so much for joining us today.
This is our 126th episode, which means you can go listen to 125 other episodes before this one if you head on over to rvsmalltalk.com. You'll find all the show notes, episodes, links, a few other special features right there. Also, we have a Facebook group and page. Just look up RV Small Talk on Facebook and you'll find those two things. So join the conversation there. We have other things we like to
We have
pitch.
so many other things, but if they just type in RV Small Talk, they're going to find us.
Yeah.
Go to your favorite podcast player. If you happen to be on Apple Podcast, awesome if you go down and rate and review us. It really helps us.
Yeah. And at very least, wherever you are listening, subscribe.
Yeah. So you can see us again or hear us again.
All right. So let's dive into this. So the first thing I have here under admission time is what has kept us this year from going out camping on personal camping trips, because we have, in fact, gone to 2 rallies, which someone would say is camping, but not for us.
Not for us.
No,
it doesn't count.
That's not the same thing. So what's kept us from going?
Time. But
In a bottle?
I do have plans. I mean, I have a plan to make a plan to go camping. Shut up. That's the first step.
So close.
You got to start somewhere. I have it written down in my notebook to make a plan.
Okay. So what about this time thing that's not making it work for you, planner?
I can't figure out what weekend I can go camping. And then I'm waiting for school to be out so that I don't have to deal with maybe I could take a Monday so that I don't have to worry about the kids.
But you realize if you wait till you get out of school to figure out,
I know that everything's going to be. I know.
What?
I know.
And
I should
this
have
is
been doing it.
Planning to plan. And may I say, you have the biggest, baddest planner book
I know. Isn't it
of
beautiful?
anyone
Wait.
I know.
Wait. Which of her 3 is the biggest, baddest?
No,
There's
there's 2 notebooks and one is an actual planner.
Oh.
I have to put the thing in the notebook before I transfer it to the planner.
so she's planning to plan. So I think we have identified Lindsay's problem.
Okay. All right. So, Lindsay, if you can't find a standard public campsite and all that, please check out some of the other places. Like I've used Hip Camp several times.
I know. I need
and
to.
some of those places have, you can find places with hookups and all that. And it's even more remote, more out there. Some of these private land owners that allow Hip Camp sites, I mean, they have lakefront or riverfront property that you can't get to otherwise.
Yeah, I'm going to need hookups.
Yeah. And they're out there.
Actually, just electric. I just need AC.
Yeah.
Well, it is summer in Texas. I mean, let's be reasonable.
But if you go on, there's several things. Just Hip Camp comes to mind because I've used them. There are available sites on private property that they've prepared for that. They have hookups.
I'm gonna go, and then the other thing, which I think is on your list, but we can transition naturally into it, is I can't figure out what I want to do more or what I want to do next. Camp by myself or camp with my kids.
Yeah, let's get to that here in a little bit. PJ.
Hey,
Here in a little bit. Did you just put her off?
Well,
Did you
I know what's coming. I'm the only one who knows what's coming because I typed this up.
no, I know what's coming because it's right here in front of me, and I read it like 5 minutes before we pushed record.
Hey, don't look ahead. It breaks all the suspense.
So, are
PJ,
we still
why
on the
are you,
opening?
Yeah, no. Why are you not? Why have you not
We're
camped?
still introducing
Where are we?
Where are we?
Why have you not camped more?
You know what? I think my biggest excuse probably is that I spend so much time planning for everyone else and for all of the events that we have to be involved in that I don't plan for myself. I just don't stop and do it. And that probably is the beginning of it.
Yeah.
There's a few more pieces to it. One of them is, how many times have we preached on this podcast to keep your trailer ready to go? I don't keep my trailer ready to go. It's always okay, well, I need to put that back in. I washed the sheets.
Right.
My trailer needed some work done on it. You know, I own an RV repair shop. They should fix my trailer, but I don't press to get that done.
Right.
I don't get my trailer ready to go.
Yeah.
And so then I don't plan.
Sure.
And then I'm the first person to go by the wayside. It's kind of like, the mechanic's car never runs kind of thing.
Yeah. Or the lawn guy's yard is always overgrown.
Yeah. Because the last thing he wants to do when he gets home is mow his own lawn.
Right.
So I think I suffer from a little bit of that. I just don't do what I should do to be prepared.
Yeah.
What about you, Clint?
I think I'm in much the same boat as you because our kids are right there at the same age. It is still the school year. And so there's all the things that come along with school stuff. So I think that's maybe one of the bigger components of why.
But you at least have trips planned.
Yeah. In fact, I'm going in a couple weeks. Yeah. So
the reason why you haven't gone camping enough this year is because you're not there yet.
Yeah,
because it's not time to go yet.
It's not time to go yet, but I do have trips on the books, and I try to look at my year as, okay, what's my big trip going to be, and I get that kind of scheduled, and the other ones I can just kind of willy-nilly sprinkle them in,
right?
A little bit
willy-nilly sprinkle,
willy-nilly.
Yeah. It's a little wonky. It's a little
Willy Wonka,
like Wonky Donkey.
Yeah, Willy Wonky Donkey. Sprinkle.
Do you know about Wonky Donkey?
I think I've heard the term, the name. It's a book.
My kid won't stop talking about Wonky Donkey.
What?
He had 3 legs and 1 eye, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I plan on researching it when I find a camping spot.
Sounds
Somebody get on our Facebook group and tell us about Wonky Donkey. I'm confused.
Okay, so some other admissions like camping setup process tendencies, things that we personally need to correct, and yet we keep on falling into our same old patterns.
Well,
groceries. Groceries.
Okay, wait. Stop the presses.
I'm waiting in trepidation.
Yeah, is everybody waiting? Okay. Because how many times have we told people, keep your trailer ready to go, which I just admitted I don't do.
Totally
so
keep
that
your
you
perishables in your refrigerator.
Yeah. Well, okay. No, let me finish. So what we tell people is just so you can come home. If you say, look, I just want to get away, you can grab your trailer, stop by the grocery store, pick up some food for the night, and go camp, 20 miles away for the night and come back the next morning and park your trailer. It doesn't need to be a big planning deal. How many of us sitting at this table have actually done that?
You can't do that anymore. I think when we started saying that was a thing you could do. You could just go to down the street to Jim Hog in Georgetown and get a spot. You can't do that anymore. You have to plan weeks in advance.
Okay, is that really true, or have we just assumed there's no place to go?
If you want to go on the weekend, yes, that's absolutely true. If you want to go on a Wednesday, you
could be a site sniper where you keep like 300-400 tabs open and you keep on refreshing on those parks until one comes available.
That sounds like hell.
And yet you and I have tons of tabs on our browsers open.
What are you talking about?
Okay, maybe
But not
it's just me.
searching for camping spots.
Yeah. So
to be fair.
Also, yes, indeed, you can do the hitch up, stop by the grocery store on the way sort of thing. It's not so simple with kids. And also, we've gone to these rallies. We know what it's like to be there and go, I forgot the creamer. I forgot the thing. We all live so close to stores, grocery stores, whatever nowadays that it's no big deal in our normal everyday home life to be like, I'll just swing by such and such instead of being 40 miles from the nearest place. When I go camping in Arkansas, this is one of the big things that we're going to have to prepare for, because from the campsite, the nearest town is over an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I think that sounds great, actually. But you just can't have what you forget.
I'm in a mode at home where I can walk from my front door half a mile and be inside the air conditioning of the grocery store.
Right. Really?
And it's been that way at the last 3 places I've lived. Mm-hmm. So it's a shift, and I know it's a shift that I was used to when I was younger. My grandparents and my family, we didn't live that close to groceries and necessities. So it's a way of thinking and preparing that we haven't exercised that muscle in a while.
It just seems like we preach campers for spontaneity.
Yeah.
And for just a quick getaway to refresh, and that it's great for all of us.
You know what's spontaneous? A 3-year-old combusting.
Yes. Well, a 3-year-old anything is spontaneous.
So some spontaneity is not as easy to roll with in my current season with kids.
Okay.
That's going to change.
I
and I'm looking forward
understand
to
that.
it.
However, if you're just talking about an overnight, hey kids, get in the car. How about if we go stay in the camper tonight?
Mm-hmm.
Even if you pick up McDonald's on the way and feed them, they're fine. They don't care where they go to bed. Maybe we overthink this and we make it harder than it is. Maybe we put those obstacles up. I'm not saying that there wouldn't be some bumps in the road, but
there are going to be bumps because I'll tell you, with my kids, you don't do a one-night camping trip. You don't.
You don't think it's possible. You don't think it's a good idea.
I always do the first night, but if I don't have 2 or 3 nights, then I will forever be scarred, because
it's not worth it.
My kids don't. The first night, we have learned in 3 years of regular camping, we have learned the first night with my kids is terrible.
They don't sleep.
You have to survive the first night. Oh, they're happy. They're way too happy, and they can't sleep. And it's the first night is a known commodity in my family so far. It will change. They will get older.
Well, that is the first excuse that makes sense to me.
Well, you just don't want the others to make sense. They make sense.
Maybe they do. I would love to. Now, granted, I am not practicing what I'm preaching here, so I clearly get it, but I think that has to be maybe on the radar of a grab and go camping trip on one of those weekends, or maybe a weekday.
Yeah, an overnighter it doesn't fall on the scale right now, like I said, in this season, as worth it. As worth the trouble. It's got to be multiple nights to be worth it for my household. Right now.
We know campers that do it. We know people that do that.
Yeah.
So I would love to.
And we'll be that someday.
Yeah.
Not there.
I would love to hear from people who do come home and say, hey, let's just go down to the park tonight.
Yeah.
And because I know some people do. What's different from them than from us?
They don't have kids.
Why can't we do it?
Yeah.
I don't have kids and I don't do it. So I don't know maybe it's a mindset. Maybe certain personalities just don't lend themselves towards that.
Right. And I will say in my household, we talk about spontaneity more than but we have to.
Is it kind of like planning to be
we do.
like planning to plan?
My wife and I have to set aside times to talk about being spontaneous.
Yeah.
And it stresses us out.
Did you put it in your planner though?
Just call Lindsay. She'll put it in your planner for you.
Oh man. Another thing that gets me is preparing to deal with the camping trash that we generate. I'm like, well, you always have trash bags or whatever, or if you do stop by the grocery store on the way out, you just save some of those grocery bags and whatever. And yet it's always a cumbersome issue dealing with it in my trailer. I think a lot of my ideas or conversation points are going to come down to, we should have just figured this out in the driveway. We should have just figured this out. Because we deal with this every time.
Like where to put the trash bag?
Well, the setup, my trailer.
Because that's my problem is like, where the heck do I put this thing?
Yeah.
Because anywhere I put it, that's all the walking
it's a little bit in
space.
the way. Right. Accessible to the shortest to the tallest.
Right.
I have a very limited counter space in my trailer. It's right there over 2-burner stove.
Right.
Or it's in the sink. Mm-hmm. But even still, back in my tenting days and stuff like that, or other trailers I've had, it's always one of those things. I need to streamline that.
Well, maybe that's the planning to have a trailer that is ready to go. That's part of just being prepared with what you need, which might be really different than what I need. I mean,
but we all need trash bags.
Yeah, but you also need my trailer to go to rallies.
Well, that is
I
because
have to take all my stuff out.
That's true. But you're not carrying my stuff. Let's be clear.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You are not carrying my stuff.
No.
My stuff is in my trailer.
No, I'm carrying rally supplies and things like that.
Right. So I don't know, setting it up so it runs.
Same token, that's the beauty of my trailer.
I know,
it's
it is.
Big open box. The way I camp in my trailer is still storage bins.
Yes.
I just have to put my storage bins back in.
Yeah. Camping, sometimes we overthink it. Maybe if you're glamping, you like all the stuffs. But, at some point, maybe there's a way to just make it simplified. And not all of them are the glamping trips.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We're struggling still with how to fit the things that we need in our trailer and where they go.
Oh, your trailer's huge.
Been over
that's
a year.
insane.
And
how are you struggling to fit stuff?
Because when we got to the rally, I figured out we have 5 chairs in our trailer.
Wait. It's just you and Richard.
Yeah, it is. We have 5 chairs.
Do you play your own small game of musical chairs with each other?
I don't know
That's
why we
real
have 5
dangerous around a
chairs.
campfire.
Yeah. Do you invite the wildlife?
Well, a lot of times we're camping with family, and family has kids, and there's a lot of us.
She's
and
talking
somehow I
about
have
me.
Chairs. You and other
Right here in front of you.
Other kids.
I'm right here.
The audacity. I bring my own chair.
Yes, but your sisters
They
don't.
have 5. Don't bring yours.
So,
Stop bringing
that's
your own
something you
chair.
can leave at home. No, but then we somehow, and it's just collected.
Yeah.
We started here. Then we had 2 bag chairs.
Mm-hmm.
We have 1 stray one. I don't know where that came from. And then we have 2 rockers that don't go into bags. They fold up flat.
Right.
I love these chairs. They're so great.
You're a chair
but
holder.
They barely fit in. Then we bought a grill.
Oh,
right?
yes.
So getting the grill, you have to put them in a certain order and kind of twist it sideways, push it back, then get the chairs on top. And I'm like, this is awful. I can't get it back in. I was in a hurry, so everything went inside.
You got to practice in your driveway.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a Rubik's
Practice
Cube there.
fitting the grill in your driveway.
Yeah, so it's like, this is too hard.
Your HOA is going to love this.
I just want it to be easy. So it makes packing the trailer feel hard.
Yeah.
And then I have I don't know what in another compartment, and I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out. So
As
it
long
becomes
as it's
this
not
big thing.
living or stinking, it's probably fine.
That's right. Now on the inside, I think we're great, but
not
the
anymore.
outside, the setup has gotten harder. It's just things that you just need to spend time with.
Yeah, I think a lot of this stuff would be flat out ironed out if we went camping more, like real camping, our own personal trips, not business stuff and all that. I think all of this would be ironed out quite a bit.
So do you think people are listening, like people who camp a lot, and they're like, what the hell are these people doing? Just go.
No, I think a lot of them have already been through the seasons that we're in,
Give us advice.
Yeah.
Sure. Lindsay, you want to check the next one? I mean, you
If only I had something to throw at you.
You do. You just don't want to throw
Wanting
those
to
things.
relax and yet still bringing the kids. I just, what do I want more?
yeah.
Because I feel like I mean, and I think this is a common parenting thing in any situation, but with camping, it's like, if they're not there, I'm going to sit there the whole time and think, oh my God, I didn't bring them with me. This, like I miss them, or this would be so much fun with them. If they were here, I would go hiking, or we could go throw rocks in the river, or we would be making memories.
Right.
And then you just feel like not very good.
Well,
so then the next trip you take them, and guess what? Guess what? Nobody's hiking. It's hot. Simone scraped her knee. Hawk just doesn't have his stuffed animal, so he won't go to sleep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
not relaxing.
It's not relaxing. We never took a hike. The pond is dried up. Everything sucks. So like, which one do I want more?
And that's another thing. If you do this adults only camping outing, you're going, but what parent goes camping and doesn't take their kids?
Then you have that guilt factor.
Yeah, it feels like you should
who does that?
Well, mean mommies and daddies do that.
Especially if your kids find out. And my daughter, I mean, Charlotte,
she would be so angry with you.
She would. Well,
so angry.
Again, my 3-year-old would explode. He's combustible. We put him back together and love him, and then he explodes again. But then my daughter would, she would play the mental game with us and bullying
like
me.
Why don't you love me?
The emotional bullying that my now 7-year-old would put me through. I'm not sure I could handle it.
Well, the whirling dervish might be more fun. It might be easier.
I know. And then in my head, I'm like, okay, not only that, like I want a family camping trip. I want a solo camping trip. I also would love to take a camping trip with just Simone or just Hawk, because then it's like, oh, now we could really bond, and like it would be so much more simple because they're not fighting with each other, and it would be a lot of fun. I went on a camping trip with just me and Hawk for like 4 days up at Lake Whitney, and I swear that was hands down the most fun I've ever had camping. We had a blast, and it was freezing cold, and like not everything worked out, but it was so much fun. Really?
Well,
really?
My phone? That's weird.
Really, Clint?
Who calls my phone?
Nobody.
Well, apparently someone.
So I can't figure out which one I want to do more. And then it's like, if you start looking at the year or looking at the summer and looking at weekends, it's like, okay, cool. I'd literally have to go like every weekend to get all of my camping trips
the
in.
types of trips that you want.
Yeah, one for me, one for the family, one for just Simone, one for just Hawk, and plus, working. And so like, there's your whole summer. And then it's like, well, when am I going to do laundry though?
Laundry.
Oh my God. Is that my phone now?
It's totally your phone.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get it. Yeah.
I'm not complaining. I'm not making excuses. I'm going to go. I just have to maybe I should make one of those wheels and spin it and be like, that's the camping trip we're taking next.
Yeah.
Everybody's coming. Because I just can't decide what I want more. Because I will leave my kids at home. I will.
Alone? No, they have a dog. It's fine.
I was about to say a dog and a cat and 4 fish.
You have 4 fish now?
Yeah, he had 2, and then he had to get 2 more because he had to get the whole Ninja Turtle clan.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another thing that comes up whenever we go on these outings, camping and whatnot, is we have in mind we're going to do some epic hikes. And we get out there and we're like, so then we have to define it. So what is a hike? Oh, it's a walk. It's a walk where? Yeah, outdoors.
To that campsite next door.
Yeah.
And back.
To the bathroom.
I mean, I imagine what I see in like outdoor magazine.
I know.
And all that. That's what I
or
picture.
even on Facebook or social media posts, you see little kids and they have their walking stick and they're like, they just did this 3-mile hike. And I'm like, wow, that's incredible. I want to get there. Not there yet.
And then I think I walked to the mailbox and back, but That's an eighth of a block.
And then you start thinking, we need all this gear to do that. And what do I need? And you begin overthinking it. Well, we need to be sure we have snacks and food and water and
a bear whistle.
First aid kit and a bear whistle. And then who's got this backpack? Okay, well, I want to bring this. And do we do it after the nap? Do we do it here? Do we do it at 3 o'clock? It's too hot. Well, it's already 10:30, so it's kind of late.
Right. And do I want to, it's kind of humid. I might end up really sticky and, you know.
And then you think, this is so wimpy. Why don't we just...
It
becomes overwhelming.
It's not even about the kids either. Because if you go camping by yourself, there are lots of times when I'm like, I'll like plan the activities, and then I'll just bring a book and I'll be like, yep. I'm actually doing none of those. I'm just going to sit here and read all day.
Turns out I have cellular data. Forget the book even.
But isn't that what camping is supposed to be? You get to do whatever you want.
Well, yeah, and you think I'm going to be active. I'm going to do this hike. And generally it's on my large trip, like up at altitude in Colorado. Again, I don't walk very far down here and perfectly not in shape. I mean... that is a good way of putting it. Did she just
say you're not in shape?
I am not in shape. Let's just be flat out honest.
I know, but...
yeah, he can say that about himself. I'm not supposed to say that.
It's fine. I'm not... Stop shaming her for being honest, Lindsay. So, at any
shape
rate...
are you?
It changes, but it's generally softer and softer. So I would get up to altitude 10,000 feet where we're, camping, and... I am not going to pull this off.
Yeah. And you have to be there for a couple of days just to acclimate. And I don't know. We're not realistic, but
no, not realistic
the
at all.
screw ups make great adventures too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's not so fun at the time, but that's how we learn. That's how we live. We just need to get out there and
so I have a
move forward.
Spot GPS tracker locator, emergency caller on the way. It should be here today, actually. And this is one of those things is I'm going to be out tooling around in the Ozarks in a couple weeks by myself on a motorcycle I repaired. So it's probably going to fall apart. And so this device is kind of the same thing with hiking. Like because I'm out of shape, because I don't know what I'm doing, because I'm inexperienced in all these ways, I'm going to need to keep this thing with me at all times.
Okay, you're taking the little unnerved, the motorcycle that you have pieced together. You're taking it on vacation?
Yes, because I have a toy hauler.
Well, I think that's adventurous.
Oh.
It's way past adventurous. So yeah, why not? I mean, those are the things epic stories are made of.
Yeah.
So good for you.
Everybody's scared, maybe especially me, but I'm going to do it, by golly.
Yeah, everybody's adventure looks different. Maybe you don't look like, the Sierra Club, but it's going to be an adventure nonetheless.
Yeah, I look like the Sierra Mist.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
What else did we do? Kind of admissions. Oh, along the same thing, and just real quickly, mountain biking. I love to take my bikes. But I bike around the flat city sidewalks. Mountain biking is hard, y'all.
Mountain biking is hard and dangerous. Like when I see people do it, I'm not into that.
I think that's kind of like the stair stepper at the gym.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that looks really cool, but it's hard.
I've been thinking about actually trying to get one of those for my home because
I can't do it.
My legs and my knees are the most difficult part that I have to work with. I mean, I don't work my legs at all, so I've been thinking about getting a stair stepper for home.
Well, I suggest before you invest, go to a gym for the day, get your free trial day.
Oh, I know they're not fun.
And see if you really want to do that because it's one of those things that it's kind of the wannabe thing. I look at it and I'm like, I want to be that person who's over there just treading away for an hour. And I'm like, oh, that would be great.
Hurts my knees.
Plus
I have stairs in my house.
You have to be coordinated. And it's just one of those things that's always been beyond me.
I do not want to have that. And I do not want to do that. But my knees are really, really bad right now.
Well, so,
And so
I only bring up a stair stepper to bring up the point
that you have one in your garage.
No, I do not. If I did, I would give it to you.
On
because I
sale
can't
right
do it.
now.
But I think we all have this idea of what it would be nice to camp like. And we get this kind of wannabe thing, you know, people that buy these serious off-road trucks and these serious off-road trailers.
Yeah.
They're cool, but they're always in a campground. And, you know, they have that wannabe.
That's why I have to do this trip.
This backroads adventurer. So we need to give ourselves some slack, be whoever we are.
Yeah.
If we take that long epic hike, that's great. And if we don't, we take a short one or none at all and enjoy whatever it is we decide to do in the moment and make it okay.
Well,
I think it needs
exactly
to be okay.
why I chose this particular location in Arkansas to put myself way out of where I should be, honestly, is because it has a lot of fire roads and dirt trails and all that. And I've never ridden that kind of stuff. I'm going on this dadgum motorcycle because I have it. And I'm not going to just tool around my neighborhood.
Well, it sounds like you're stretching just a bit and you're going to have some great adventures for you, the kids, for everybody.
Oh, they don't get to ride the motorcycle.
Oh, no. Not the motorcycle. But they might love walking on some of those roads.
Yeah.
And some of those trails, you know, and being in the middle of nowhere has its graces.
Yeah.
So good for you for going, for planning, and not just writing it in your planner.
Sure. You know what else I have to admit I'm really bad about doing? This whole thinking I'm naturally good at processes. So since I'm naturally good at processes, I certainly don't need to make lists on how to pack, how to set up, and how to tear down and leave camp.
I never will.
And
I'll just lose the list.
And well, okay.
A
Good
list
radio.
is
I'll shut that down right now.
Well, that's just it. Is I keep on thinking to myself, no, I'm good at this stuff. I mean, I spit out lists like crazy, so I might as well. I probably can catalog them. I can probably just keep all the steps in my head, and it just isn't true. It isn't true, and this bites me somehow every single trip.
Every time.
Every single trip, somehow this gets me.
maybe that's true, but if I make a list of how to set up and all the things I need, it just feels like a whole lot more work just to go camping. And then it becomes a to-do on the list of to-dos.
Yeah, but if it's important stuff, like chalk your tire before you disconnect and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, to me, that's kind of like, you know, put your car in drive before you want to go somewhere. You know, me, it is to me, I think, but I don't know.
Fight.
It's going to get you.
Everyone is different.
Fight.
It's going to get you.
It probably is, but a run over wheel chalk, I can live with.
But no wheel chalk.
No wheel chalk on my trailer rolling down the hill. Okay.
Is a runaway camper.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, that is the pushback that I get. I don't want to do work in making a list of things to do before or after I arrive. I don't know. Everybody has that mindset. Maybe that's me. I don't spit out lists easily and I don't follow them easily. And like Lindsay, I probably would not know where it was. And it's one more thing that I have to think about to go camping. I don't know. Actually, I just say, do what makes you feel comfortable. And I am more comfortable having the risk of my trailer rolling down the hill.
But if the closest town is an hour away in any direction, I'm probably
then let's hope when it rolls down the hill, it is not connected to my vehicle.
No, I'm talking about like whether it be the grocery thing or some other supply, something or
You're
other.
You're right. It is the smart thing to do.
Or a bottle of melatonin to get the kid to fall asleep, or Jack Daniels or something. Some bottle. Just need a bottle. So
oh well.
Right.
Oh well.
What about some important gadget or something or other that you always think is, I know it's in the trailer. I don't need to go check. And I know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
It's like when you go to the grocery store and you're like, I don't have to check what we need.
Yeah, I know.
Because I already know it's in the pantry. And then you come back from shopping and you're like, crap.
Yeah. Yeah. I make this mistake with my setup all the time. And we don't have really, we've set up bins and all kinds of stuff in my trailer, and yet stuff moves around. It's never where I expect it to be or where I thought I put it last. And Laura does this too. And then you have the compounding factor of kids.
Yeah.
So we actually never know if that thing that I need, that I purchased on Amazon 3 times now,
Because you've lost it twice.
Right. Did it ever make it in the trailer? I clearly remember putting it in the trailer.
Okay, so what are you thinking that you have lost and not had that was so important?
Well, because my trailer doesn't have a holding tank for gray water or anything, like it. Forget black water. It doesn't have a shower. It doesn't have a toilet. So don't worry about that. But gray water does have a sink. It has a freshwater tank. So I have one of those little trailer totes to catch just gray water.
Sure.
But the height of the trailer and the height of the tote make it impossible to use the enclosed hose. So I have bought a shorter section of hose, but it kinks. So I have a shorter section of hose with a spring around it so it doesn't kink. However, it needs a separate fitting to go from it needs a male to male fitting so it can work with the female end of the hose and the male end of the hose and the male end of the holding tank. So I had to purchase that. So I've had to purchase hose links with springs and these fittings 2 or 3 times now.
My head hurts.
Yeah. You know how much your head hurts every time you end up at the campsite out of state and it's not there or you can't find it? Hurts even worse.
Wow.
It shouldn't be that hard.
Yeah. Why don't you just get like a bucket?
Why don't you talk to an RV dealership about an easier setup?
I work at an RV dealership and I am the easier setup.
Is that the
it just doesn't make
setup?
it just Okay, what do you suggest? Let's take it through.
I don't know what I suggest. I'm having trouble following.
I have a
Fight.
I have a sink with a tube that goes out to the bottom of the trailer. So I have my options of a bucket, which is a bucket, and I have an option of a tote or a hose running to a sewer inlet. Okay, so those are my options. Unless I want the sink to stay plugged and just carry the water in the sink. Okay, so I've used the bucket. It's a bucket.
It's a bucket.
It fills up rather quickly and it attracts animals.
I realize the dilemma.
So I have a tote. The tote is fine, but it's too tall for the enclosed hose. So I just needed to get the hose piece. So I got the hose piece. I got the connector piece. But it hasn't ended up in the trailer, or it has ended up in the trailer and got lost every time. So I haven't even used the correct setup to make this whole system work anytime, because where are the pieces?
Have you tried a Ziploc baggie?
Where are those? This is what I'm talking about. The setup always changes in what you expect to be in the trailer. And you say, no, it's in there. It'll be easy to find. But it isn't in there.
We have all said that, and it's not in there. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Absolutely.
This is the admission piece of it, is that, man, my humanness comes out every single trip.
And your aggravation with needing that piece and not having it.
Yeah. And how
clearly is
stupid
part
it
of
is
this.
that I've had this experience this many times.
Well, I think you need to go camping to release some of this stress.
Can we go back to wanting to relax and yet still bringing the kids? I feel better, even though it's a little bit complaining, a little bit excuse making, whatever. Sometimes it's just worthwhile to talk things out, think things out with some friends. So,
did you hear that, Lindsay?
Thanks for
We're
that.
friends.
Yeah, we are.
There you go.
I would hope so. We're 126 episodes into
I
this.
know.
It's true.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously there's some things that just sound like, well, just find a solution, or the solution is obvious. But that doesn't change the fact that they are things that we
Hurdles.
Yeah, that we go through some barriers. But I think it was a little cathartic, a little therapeutic, a little bit like spending some time with a counselor of some sort. So thanks for counseling me. Give me some reality.
You're welcome. But it was a little embarrassing, too, to sit here and say, yeah, we're supposed to be the expert camperers. And,
No, I don't think so, because
and we're struggling, too.
here's the deal. You camp, Lindsay camps, I camp, and you and I both know that that's actually fairly strange in the industry to have people at a dealership who actually make plans
That is very
and
true.
do camp. So I don't feel bad about us having trouble getting out there. We do get out there.
I guess I don't always think of it that way. So thank you for reminding me.
Mm-hmm.
Almost everyone here camps.
Yeah.
I mean, we all go camping. So yeah, hats off to us.
And
we just don't go as often as we'd
At
like.
the end of the
Right.
day, we did just do 2 rallies. And even though that's not our ideal camping situation, we slept in the trailers for multiple nights.
Yeah.
That's right.
So
And use air conditioner
it's a
too.
start.
Yeah. And we got off those 2 rallies, and we already have the next one planned for the fall, which is
September 29th to October 2nd at Skyline Ranch RV Resort in Bandera, Texas.
That's right.
It's a mouthful,
so
right?
Anybody who is listening, if you are in a tiny trailer or any size trailer, in a motorized RV or a truck camper, or you don't have a camper at all, but you still want to attend, please head over to the website. Just look us up. It's TexasTinyTrailerRally.com.
Yeah.
Find out the dates and the details, ask questions if you need to, and join us.
You have to appreciate tiny trailers. You don't have to have one.
Right.
So everybody's welcome. It is such a fun time. We can fit about 120 trailers, and then we can't fit anymore. And tons of fun. You should be there.
And we are not going to wait until the next rally to go camping again.
Nope.
We're all going to go camping before that.
All right. We'll check in with each other and we'll report back.
Oh, you're just going to know I'm not here for a week.
Yeah, but I just...
Where's Clint?
That'll work.
All right, everybody, wherever you're listening to the RV Small Talk podcast, thank you first. And then one step more, please go ahead and subscribe to the podcast. If you just so happen to be an Apple podcast or can get to it, if you rate us and review us, leave us a comment, it just does wonders. So thank you ahead of time for that. Again, check us out at rvsmalltalk.com. And I think that's it.
I think that's it.
That's it. Why don't we go plan a camping trip? What do you say?
Y'all do
Sounds
that.
good.
What do you say?
Mine's on the book, so
All
I'm just
right.
going to go.
Good for you.
He's a step ahead.
Everybody, thank you. We will talk to you in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
I feel like it's been a while since we've done this.
Super long time. I don't even know what I'm doing. I probably didn't push record on all the things.
Will you check, please?
I just checked, but I'm not sure I remember how to check, so I probably did that wrong too.
So much to remember, Clint.
It's been so long. It's been so long. Ready?
And I always
Set,
worry
go.
that the next day when I say, how's the podcast? That you say, well, I got all but
Yeah.
45 minutes in the middle.
My life is worrying about that, about missing files. It's like endless stress about missing files.
Well, I would not be surprised if you said we need a second board so we could leave this one set for a podcast so you wouldn't have to miss anything. But it ain't happening, so you're going to have to just...
Right. I haven't timed that conversation yet.
Yeah, it's coming.